So when you're looking to build a property business, the absolute key thing that you need to understand is to structure it to generate cash flow. If you're not bringing in cash flow, you're not going to be bringing in income streams. And therefore, if you're buying property and you're growing a portfolio, but you're not creating a return on that capital or the income streams, you're actually building a liability. So one of the absolute keys when you're looking to structure it is to, yes, have momentum. We talk about momentum in other videos, and momentum is the ability to put money into a property, add value, and then pull it out and recycle it into the next property. But we have to make sure we're increasing the cash flow as well. When we concentrate on cash flow, we actually build a portfolio that will replace our job and replace our income fairly quickly. And it's easily possible to replace a high income job in 3 years or 3 years or less, if I'm perfectly honest. But we need to look at different strategies that are going to help us to do that. So what I want to go through is my 5 sort of top strategies for generating cash flow in your property business. Now, the first one is actually very simple. You may have heard of it before. It's called houses of multiple occupation, or HMOs. And with an HMO, what we can do is buy a normal house and then restructure it to rent it out by the room. So rather than putting one family in that building, we're going to be renting out 4, 5, 6, even more rooms. And we can transform a property from £500-600 a month to, let's say, 6 rooms at £350 a month. We're up at £2,000 a month plus. That makes a huge difference to your cash flow. That's strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 is using mixed-use buildings. And by mixed use, I mean a building that's separated into a couple of different units. So let's take, for example, some mixed-use buildings we've got on a portfolio. I actually quite like buying commercial with flats above. There's a good reason for that. A lot of people don't like to buy properties with those commercial elements in. So again, we can buy these properties cheaply because they've got some commercial element in. You can actually buy it much more cheaply because other people aren't looking to buy them, and then rent them out as individual units. So that's strategy number 2. Strategy number 3 is called lease and leverage. Now, this means we don't even have to buy it in the first place. So there are plenty of organisations out there who are looking to put their clients in, be it things like supported living companies or charities. And what we can do is actually go and find blocks of flats. We can lease them from the owners and then sublease them to the supported living or the charity type companies. And this is really cool. And in another video, I talk about a case study we've got in Chester, where we've actually leased that property for £1,100 a month, and then we sublease it at £2,600 a month, totally hands off. And that's for a 10-year lease. That's a £1,500 margin every month that goes into our cash flow. We also have an option to buy that, which we will talk about in a different video. So we can buy that if we want to. The fourth strategy to increase cash flow is actually to buy bigger units and split them into different units. Okay, so this is called commercial conversions. And we can either buy an existing, old building and turn it into multiple flats, or we can maybe buy a distressed block of flats and go with momentum as well, which is adding value and pulling the money out to get both of them. Final strategy we can use, it's a bit more advanced, is we could do the same but to office space. So we can actually take larger offices, which are kind of falling out of favour in certain high streets, take those larger offices and actually separate them into smaller areas and rent them out as serviced office space. And that takes one big, difficult to rent out unit and maximises the cash flow with those. But look, if you're just starting off, I would recommend that you start with the houses of multiple occupation, and the smaller blocks of flats is a good place to start. On the masterclass we run, we talk about the risk pyramid, where we want to start with building a foundation of single lets. They're not massively high cash flows, but then we move up to a medium risk, which is the cash flowing strategy. When we go into commercial conversions and developments, that's a higher risk strategy that create capital events. I would start in that low to medium risk. If you'd like to know more about how to generate cash flow in your property portfolio, you want to deep dive into the frameworks, how we do it with the AAA method, I've recorded a totally free masterclass training for you. All you need to do is push the button, tell me where to send the training, and I'll see you on that training.